just wanna win on the low, low. Ask me where I've been, I said don't know. You making demands, I said whoa, whoa. She wanna be friends, I said no, no. Hey, yeah, whoa. My soul is stuck between dark and the light. It's like playing some musical chairs. They kicked me out, so I started a life, made a bag that was bigger than theirs. I win and I lose and I win and again. I can see why they think that's unfair. We put in the work and we making them bends. To be honest, I don't really share. You rolling with hitters, I don't understand. You killing good people, that wasn't the plan. Round up the game, come get your mans. He's selling his soul for a couple of bands. I opened his eyes, lifted a hand. As far as you see, this is all in my land. Cause I've been through hell, then I came back. That's the one reason I don't give a damn. Whoa, devil knocked and I buzz him in. This is life with the son of man. Poured a drink, half a dozen in. Threw my head for a sudden spin. Sad story with my violin. All these problems start to pile in. All these peasants turn to violence. Two-faced, thought you had a twin. I just wanna win on the low, low. Ask me where I've been, I said don't know. You making demands, I said whoa.
Getting swole, B-shares.
Friends, I said no, no. I just wanna win on the low, low. Ask me where I've been, I said don't know. You making demands, I said whoa, whoa. She wanna be friends, I said no, no.
What's up? What's up? What's good?
I just wanna win on the low, like. You making demands, I said whoa. I just wanna win on the low, like. Ask me where I've been, I said don't know. You making demands, I said whoa. She wanna be friends, I said no, no. I just wanna win on the low, low. Ask me where I've been, I said don't know. You making demands, I said whoa, whoa. She wanna be friends, I said no, no. Hey, yeah, whoa. My soul is stuck between dark and the light. It's like playing some musical chairs. They kicked me out, so I started a life, made a bag that was bigger than theirs. I win and I lose and I win and again. I can see why they think that's unfair. We put in the work and we making them bends. To be honest, I don't really share. You rolling with hitters, I don't understand. You killing good people, that wasn't the plan. Round up the game, come get your mans. He's selling his soul for a couple of bands. I opened his eyes, lifted a hand.
Yeah, what's going on, beaches?
Then I came
What's
back, that's the one
good?
reason I don't give a damn.
What's
Whoa,
good?
devil knocked and I buzz him in. This is life with the son of man. Poured a drink, half a dozen in.
Swole Normuth.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing, 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 test, 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 testing, 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 testicles, a testing, a testicles, a testicles, a testicles. Oh, welcome everyone to episode 1124 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gangcast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, beaches, booshes, busters, hustlers, and of course, the hoes? What is up, my people? Pinch your nips for daddy. You know you want to. You know you want to. What's up? What's good? What's going on? What's going on? Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and Twitch. And those of you banging ye old ear holes with my knowledge cock over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and Fuck Play, and everything. Thank you so much for being here. What up? What's good? Did you pump today? Dost thou pump today? I am going to be doing some yoga and some mobility today. It is not a resistance day for me, which is good because I am sore as fark. I'm feeling sore. I'm feeling right, but I'm feeling tight. Right and tight. I am feeling right and tight. I'm a little bit banged up. A little bit banged up in a good way. Had good workouts this week, and I'm excited. Going to do some sauna. Going to walk the pup. Going to get into a little bit of mobility action. Maybe a little foam rolling action. I think maybe I can dig into that a little bit. I can get some work done. You guys doing your active recovery? You paying attention to the podcast? Are you listening? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Are you doing your yoga like I've been talking about? Are you? Are you? Are you doing your stretching? Are you doing your recovery? Are you meditating? Are you doing that stuff? Are you saying you're doing that stuff? Are you sending me DMs like, oh, I love your content, and you're just fucking jerking off, wasting time? No, you're doing it. I know you are. I know you are. Swolenormous peeps aren't full of shit. You're not full of shit. You practice what you preach, right? You're taking control. You're taking it. Not they're slacking. Not you. They're slacking, not you. No way. No way, fam. Not you, not the fam that I know. You're not slacking. Yoga session completed. Very nice. Dirty. Let me get this up here. All right, let's see. We got a couple questions. We're going to talk about this this is nothing that I created. This is just a standard kind of like a seesaw program. You know, you walk up the ladder kind of like a pyramid, but I want to talk about the whole stairs concept. We're going to get into that in just a moment. It's a basic way to think about deloading and increasing your overload and giving yourself time to heal. This still goes along the same vein we've been talking about in terms of active recovery and what mobility you should be doing and what it means to deload, what it means to take a little bit of time off in your program from intensity, how recovery is important, how recovery is the most important thing, really, if you're not recovering, whatever that means to you. What we've been saying for the last couple days is recovery looks different for different people. And for someone to say, oh, that's overtraining, that's not necessarily true. A person may recover faster than you. A person may be recovering enough for that specific type of overload. So if you are recovering enough, you can keep on pushing it. That's the definition of recovery, isn't it? Isn't that the definition of recovery? If you are recovered, you can go do it again because you're fixed. Now, it doesn't mean that there's no risk. Of course, if you're doing any kind of activity, you're always at risk of getting an injury, even if you are recovered. Just shit happens. You can't protect from everything. But if you're recovering properly, you can continue as you were training and overloading your body because you're recovering enough. But think about this. If you're training, what are we trying to do in the gym? We're trying to do progressive overload, right? We are trying to overload the body regularly, provide overload, provide force, provide stress on the body. So the body has to adapt and respond to that stress, to that stimulus. And that stimulus is coming from the weights. The stimulus is coming from the cardio you're doing. Whatever it is that you're doing, whatever you're training, that's the stimulus. It's an overload. It's an overload stimulus. And that means it's more than, quote, more than what your body can handle. Now, it's not completely just more than your body can handle, because if it's resistance-based, if it was more than your body could handle, you wouldn't be able to do one rep. But it is more than what your body can handle for a finite period of time, right? Let's say you're doing a weight, you're only able to lift it with a certain movement 8 times, 8 repetitions, or 15 times, or 30 times, whatever it is. And that depends on your strength and your adaptation and what you're lifting and the pacing and the speed and all those other little things. But you're challenged. You're challenged. The way our body works is we're able to do it a few times. And if we expose ourselves to having to lift that overload or overcome that external force enough, our body will adapt and change to be able to handle that more readily, which means bigger muscles, stronger muscles, more endurance. So even though you're recovering enough, and this is going to get not a little bit deep, but make sure you keep up with this. Even when you are recovering enough from workout to workout, you're still overloading your body workout to workout. So even when you're recovering enough, you're still overloading yourself almost every workout, essentially. So can you really ever recover? And what I mean is, can you ever really recover when you're, quote, healed? You're always overloading yourself. You're always giving yourself more than what it can handle. So even when you're getting your proper rest, this is why I'm setting this up, because this is why it's one way to think about why you need deloading. Because the experience that your body goes through, the experience of doing these overloaded workouts, doing these gym sessions, whatever they are, whether it's CrossFit, whether it's bodybuilding, you're overloading yourself on a regular basis. And how many times a week do you all train? How many times a week do you lift weights? I rephrase that to how many days a week do you lift weights? Do you do resistance training? Because I've been saying train every day. Yoga is training. Active recovery is training. So how many times a week do you lift weights? Put that in the comments for those of you that are watching live. How often do you lift weights? How many times a week? So those of you that are watching, how many times a week are you lifting weights? And that creates this kind of cycle of just inflammation and stress on the body, which is necessary. It's necessary if you want to build muscle. It's necessary, that overload. However, your body is also experiencing that overload regularly. I'm seeing in the comments now 5 to 6 days a week, 3, 4, 5 to 6, 3 to 4. So it seems like everyone here is doing 3 to 6 days a week. So that's a lot of that cycle of overload of stress. So even if you are recovering enough or recovering as best you can imagine that you're never, if you're training, look at the percentage of the week, 7 days in a week. And if you're training 5 or 6 days a week, that's like 70, 80% of your week you're under stress. You're always recovering. You're always in recovery. And the fact that you're always in recovery is always in recovery as a response to an inflammation, as response to that stress that you're always putting your body under. So even with the program, the purpose of rest and recovery periods, the purpose of active recovery is to repair as much as possible, because you're never really getting all the way back to 100% if you're training that frequently. It's never really going to be 100%, because you have to imagine your sleep isn't perfect. Your nutrition's not perfect. You are training some of these body parts more than twice a week. You're still sore, and sometimes you're training them again. Your body doesn't repair everything 100% all the way. So over time, you're just kind of losing ground. And that's why over time, it's good to do these periods where you're giving yourself a lot less intensity so you can really proactively recover more than what you normally do, because you're never really matching 100%. And you'll know this if you take, how many of you have taken a few days off since you started lifting consistently? You take maybe a week off, or you're traveling, or at least 3 days off. You come back and you do a workout that was normal for you a week ago, and you're just extra fucking sore. And you're like, what the hell? Why am I so sore? It's only been a week. Is it that much of a different workout? Did you lose all your muscle? No. Did you lose all your strength? Of course not. What was the difference? Your body hasn't been under that stress and that experience for a week, and all of a sudden, what you were dealing with all the time, now you have a little perspective. You haven't been under that kind of physiological overload for 7 days. And you're just not used to it as you were when you were in the flow of things. You get numb to that kind of pain. You get numb to that kind of soreness. It always feels more. You're not feeling that much of a different soreness than you were when you first started lifting. You're just used to feeling it. Because now when I move my arms, I'm like, oh, if I'm really sore. When you first start working out, you think something's wrong. How many of you thought when you were first sore, oh my God, I'm so sore. Did I hurt myself? Did I do something wrong? What'd I do? You learn that's just like, oh, your body's fucking sore. You trained it. That's why your body's fucking sore, because you ripped shit apart. You worked your body. That's why you're sore. It's supposed to be sore. And if you're not used to being sore, it's going to be more shocking. It's going to feel more intense because you're not used to experiencing soreness. So even when you're recovering on a regular basis, even if you're doing yoga 3 times a week, which is phenomenal. If you're doing yoga 3 times a week, you're killing it. You're killing it. So even if you're doing that kind of stuff, foam rolling, you're sleeping right, you're just never really healing 100%, because you're just always breaking it right back down again. So the purpose of a deloading period, whether it's a deloading week or 2 weeks, depending on the training cycle and how hard you are going and what your issues are, if they exist, everyone's going to have these different type of burning out feelings, whether it's going to be psychological, sometimes it's going to be hunger or weakness or just illness. Everyone's going to have these different symptoms of under recovery if you're breaking down over time. But you go through this deloading period. Maybe you do more yoga for 2 weeks. Instead of doing heavy resistance, you do stabilization, you do some light mobility work, and you do yoga for 2 weeks. And then you just transition back into lifting weights, and you'll ramp back up, and you'll be, sore for the first couple of workouts, but you'll be rejuvenated. Your body will actually your body will have had received focused attention, in-depth care, without having to go through that cycle of breaking down. That's a real big difference. That's a massive difference. I think you can all appreciate that. It's a lot different. Throwing in some yoga in between your training for 4, 5, 6 days a week is much different than giving yourself 14 days, for example, 2 weeks of your body not having to worry about being under extreme stress. Your body not having to deal with repairing damaged tissue, just continuously repairing and, adding to it. Positive recovery. 14 days of focused recovery is a lot different than the normal break it down, repair, break it down, repair, really break it down, rest, break it down. Your body's always trying to fucking recover and repair. So there's some benefits to giving yourself complete focus time to only worry about repair and recovery before you go through another cycle of resistance, because it's good to give your body a breather. But it depends on, some people are of the belief that you never have to take time off, and it's not that you do. The body's very resilient. The body will keep on going if you don't give it time off, but it's not always in your best interest. More isn't always better when it comes to training, because more we associate with the training part. But you're recovering. The recovery is when you're building. So if you want to make progress, it's done when you're resting, when you're repairing from what you did. Go in the gym, go to your training session, get it done, and then work on your recovery, because recovery, the sleep, the hydration, the food, the repair, the yoga, the mobility, that is what's keeping you healthy and what's allowing the muscle to repair so it can be bigger, so you can look in the mirror and be like, look at my man titties, and like, oh, look at my abs, and ladies are like, oh, look at my booty, my legs look good. Whatever it is, that's what is helping you get there. For health reasons, not just for the aesthetics, not just for superficial reasons, for all aspects of health, is coming from the recovery. Is it beneficial to do yoga when you're ridiculously sore? Sure. You can do some foam rolling too. Just go light. The soreness is your body just kind of guarding the muscle so it can repair, so it can heal, so it can reduce inflammation. Don't push yourself through like bad pain, but we all know that, the difference between good sore and like, oh my God, this hurts when I'm doing it. Don't do anything that fucking hurts bad. I mean, that's common sense. But when you're sore and you're stretching, it's going to feel like, oh my God, that hurts so much. But it's a good, the difference. Agree, everyone? Everyone knows when you're really sore and you're stretching and it hurts so fucking much, but it's a good type of hurt. And you're like, oh my God, it hurts so much because you're just so sore from the workout you did a couple days ago. It's not a bad pain. It's a bad pain, but not like an ouch, that hurts my knee, or it's that breaking up that scar tissue and whatever's sticking around in there and the inflamed fibers. Sometimes I come back a few days later and I feel like I'm magically stronger after taking a break. That's exactly right, because you're repairing more tissue. You're healing more. Sometimes when you take a couple days off, that's why I'm feeling great with my current programming style is, and this is where the stairs program comes in, or the stairs mentality. When you think about it, you're building up the intensity, and after sustaining that for several weeks, you drop it and you kind of like recover and you heal. But then you start climbing up the stairs again. But as the stairs go up and you heal, over the long term, you just keep on going up those stairs because you only pull it back a percentage, but then you continue where you were like about halfway through that process, and you just keep on zigzagging up. Once you get to the top of your intensity, drop it a little bit, back off, and then work back up, but then you're getting stronger continuously. So you're giving yourself those periods of like more full recovery. And long term, that's a long-term way to program. That's a long-term way to focus on your training, because you're thinking about the future. You're thinking about your overall recovery. You're thinking about your overall wellness. You're thinking about your overall fitness journey, as it were, fitness process, your overall career. And that's important, because if you don't want to be fucked up when you're older, not getting fucked up and not being limited with movement, not being fucked up when you're older is a direct product of what you're doing today, the decisions you're making now. The decisions that you're making with your training now, when it comes to yoga and mobility and meditation, all that, those decisions are what's going to affect how you are physically and how you are health-wise when you're older. The ones you're making today, the ones we're talking about. That's why it's important. I like the way I'm training now, personally. I go in and I beat it up, but less volume. I go hard, and then I do it twice in a week. And it helps me get out and go and stay consistent, helps me focus on different types of movements twice a week rather than once a week, and then 7 days for me to go and hit in a different way. Just do less volume and then up the frequency. So you do a 3-day split, take a day off doing mobility, but overall you're not doing as much. I'm not getting as sore, for example. And I like that now. I like that. I don't like going to the gym. I love having a hard workout. I love that feeling of being destroyed after. But what I don't like is being sore for a week. You can't fucking move. It sucks. Who wants to be sore for a fucking week? No one wants to be sore for a week. Thanks, dude. No one wants to. I just don't want to be destroyed. I don't want to be fucking murdered for a week. I want to get back into it. It's that consistency and discipline. A lot of people fall off, and a lot of people just fall by the wayside because they're taking too much time off. They're recovering too much in terms of frequency of their training. They're only doing 3 days a week when they could benefit from doing more frequency, but dropping the volume and getting more reps, more exposure over the course of the week, rather than focusing on a couple specific things here and there. Thanks, Seek Truth. Appreciate that. YouTube, what up? What's good? Bare feet, sauna, yoga. Papa's like 3 big things. Dude, I'm loving the sauna. I've been going hardcore for like the past couple months. Great. Love it. Barefoot right now. Yoga. Yeah, I want to do some yoga today. I want to get a little bit in. Get it in. That's what she said. Get it in. Get it in. If we focus on the recovery, if we focus on the long term, you'll get better results now. You'll make better decisions. So when it comes to your deloading week, and I get a lot of questions about deloading, that's why it's important. You can push hard, but you have to give yourself some time of reprieve. And the more you train, the more you learn about your body, and the more you learn about how you recover and what it feels like when your body is telling you that it needs more rest. You listen to your body better. When you get better at that, then you're able to dynamically adjust during the week, and it's a good skill to learn. It's a good connection with your body that you'll learn. Thought I heard knocking. So it's a good skill. And that's part of the practice. That's part of the practice of living your life and going to the gym and doing these reps and trying these things and experiencing, because you experience what your body reacts, how your body reacts to this, how your body reacts to this style of programming, how your body reacts when it gets more rest, when it gets more time, when you have more active recovery, when you do more yoga. I feel better when I rest more and I train harder, but I give myself more recovery in between. I focus more on recovery. So less overload in a workout, but enough in between to be ready to fucking crush, ready to pop. I think if you have a couple days off, I think as a natural lifter, if you take too many spaces between, if you're taking many days between, Because if you're training hard, it comes down to training hard enough. Some people swear by the once a week method, and it does work. But can training a body part twice a week work better? Potentially, but for some people. If you're, for example, training a body part once every 5 days or once a week, what has to increase as a result of that decreased frequency? Once a week frequency needs more volume, so that one day when you are training those body parts, if that's severe enough and if that's intense enough, then that might be all you need. But it has to match. If you're doing that body part twice a week, you can't maintain that same type of volume as you did once a week. You're going to overdo it. So if you're training more frequently, you would drop the volume because you're not going to need as much. So what tends to happen is people do maybe a body part once a week, but they're really not training that hard to begin with. So that once a week isn't enough anyway, and they don't make gains. How come I'm not gaining? But I train once a week. I train, this body part. It's probably because they're just not training hard enough. A lot of people don't train as hard as they think they do. They don't train as hard as it really takes to put on size. Everyone I see at the gym is pretty much just fucking floating through there. Very few people are actually lifting and training hard. People don't train that hard anymore. Some people do, but a lot of people just don't. They don't really push their bodies hard enough to get results. They just truly don't. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind this week because we're coming up on hump day tomorrow. So it's Wednesday. Everyone's thinking of that as the middle of the week. But start observing your program. Are you recovering enough? Are you stimulating your muscles enough? Are you paying attention enough? Are you deloading enough? Are you giving yourself enough focused attention? Are you giving yourself enough focused attention on recovery in a cycle where your body doesn't have to always be fighting this overload in addition to recovering? Are you giving your body periods where it can just focus on recovery 100% and not have to worry about going through resistance training at the same time? Just real dedicated time to healing. Think about it. Think about it, fam. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for episode 1124 of the Most Muscular Swolecast, Beercast, Broadcast, Gaincast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleazecast, and Slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow for 1125. Make sure to plug in, check out my latest YouTube drop on my channel, YouTube at Swolenormous. And also, for those of you that love to drop questions, answer the ones in the sticker thing in the IG stories. Instagram stories, I'm posting a lot of those ask me question stickers, so make sure you respond to that, and I answer that in a lot of content, and I try to spread that out and get everyone those answers because a lot of you have the same questions. So the more the better, so make sure you plug in there, and I'll see you tomorrow for 1125. Peace, McGee's, Deuce Magoose, your boy Papa Swolio. Out.